recruiting process? Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's chaotic, frustrating. What was it for you?
I decided I really want to play college football. I was probably, in the 10th grade, and it had been a dream to play college football in 10th grade. I probably, at that point said it was really what I wanted to do. And at the time I was, 5'10", 135 pounds, so it didn't make as much sense at the time. But, it started a little slow because of that, because of my size. And, I started to get some interest from some Ivy League schools, after my junior year for some, smaller D1 AA schools. And then I actually broke my wrist that basketball season. Didn't realize that it was broken until May. I had an operation that kept me out a lot of camps there going into my senior year, which was, which were going to be big for me and gaining some interest from some Power 5 schools. So I committed to Princeton going into my senior season. And about midway through my senior season, Duke offered me an opportunity to walk on with potential to earn a scholarship. And growing up in Charlotte, watching Coach Cut, watching Duke, that was kind of the place I, really saw myself, at the beginning of the process, the place I wanted to be. So I took that opportunity, and I was very grateful to, have that opportunity.
Growing up not too far away and watching Duke, not knowing that you would end up there one day, but you still knew a little bit about it. But what was it like when you first arrived on campus, officially part of the team, and you kind of see the campus in a different light then?
Yeah, it was an exciting time. Kind of the first time, in your life you're away from home, and you're, making, that kind of transition to really, a new life with all new people around you, and you're doing a new thing. So, it was, it was a transition. It was, a lot of learning, a lot of, learning quickly, but it was exciting to get there, and you certainly, start getting comfortable. You start seeing things, you seeing the campus, seeing, the experience, and, getting comfortable with that was an exciting time, and, I really enjoyed it.
Learning quickly was definitely something that you had to do because you were thrown in the fire pretty early in your career. I mean, you go from third string to taking the starting snaps in the blink of an eye. What was your mind doing during that process?
Yeah, that was a quick transition. I redshirted my first year, and then our starter actually went down and camp that following season. So I was I took the job after that, and that was that was a quick turnaround from running the scout team the season before to all of a sudden being the starting quarterback. So obviously it's what you dreamed about. It's what I envisioned myself doing. In coming to Duke, you want to be the starter, you want to play. So I was thrilled, I was excited, but it was it was a lot to learn in a short period of time, and some up and down, and I think I was certainly better for it, having to go through that my first year.
What was it that Coach Cutcliffe and the rest of the staff did to prepare you going from, like you said, scout quarterback to starting quarterback? You relied on a lot of help, it seems like.
Yeah, I think I think it was first understanding what we were doing and understanding the playbook. So from the first day I stepped on campus, I was taught that stuff, so that had been something I was used to. But I think really there's no better practice for a quarterback than playing 11-on-11 football and real game-like situations. So you get a taste of that in practice and scrimmages, but there's no better teacher than experience in playing the game. So I had to learn quick, but having to do that early on, having to do that my redshirt freshman year, that was an advantage for me.
What was your relationship like with Coach Cutcliffe? A lot of college coaches are really more so general managers than anything, but he is as hands-on as it gets. So what was it like to learn from him?
Yeah, it was an awesome opportunity. The experience that he has and the people he's been around, the people he's mentored, speak for themselves and what he's been able to do. So just knowing that, knowing what he's done, who he's been around, who he's influenced, and now realizing that I'm in that position and hearing the same coaching, hearing the same advice was always cool for me, and helped certainly helped me learn, and he's a great coach, a great mentor, and kind of the way he he leads that program, the way he led, my teams were, was awesome and made for a great experience.
And what advice did he give you going forward that you can apply off the field?
I think, being a head coach, being a college head coach is, you're often the center of a lot of criticism or, appreciation. And, when it's positive or negative, you're often the source of, the lightning rod of those comments. So I think his advice to me and going into the NFL was understanding that, your work is always going to be criticized or commended, whatever end it is, whatever end of the spectrum that is. It's it's up to you to keep doing your work how you believe it needs to be done, and not letting that influence what you're doing and how you go about your work. So I thought that was helpful coming from someone who's been in a similar position.
And now you go from Duke being thrust into as big of a market as you can imagine in New York City. How did Duke prepare you for the bright lights of New York City now? I mean, not just from a football standpoint, but Duke takes their time. Coach Cutcliffe is known for taking his time and grooming men as well as athletes.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's developing a confidence in myself and who I am as a player and as a person and making sure that I'm consistent with who I am every day. Whether that's in the media or in the locker room, I think that's important in any situation. But in New York is being true to yourself and always presenting yourself as that as yourself. And I think that's something you certainly learn from a young age. But Duke helped me in doing that as well.
Duke is kind of seen as a honorary Ivy League school in a way. I mean, academics are no joke. So how did you juggle being a starting quarterback, a young starting quarterback, as well as pursuing an education at a really prestigious university?
It was tough, but I think if it's important enough to you, you can find time for it. And I certainly tried to do that through my time at Duke. The summers were important for me, being there in the summer, taking some of the harder classes, getting those out of the way. But yeah, I mean, I think if it's important enough to you, I think you can do it. There's a lot of smart people at Duke for sure, but there's also us normal people. So we, if you want to do it, I don't think it's not going to be too hard. And to me, it's just about wanting to do it and wanting to put in the time.
Saturdays are going to come around, and you're going to finish your walkthrough. Maybe you'll get one final lift in. You watch some tape, and you're going to race home, turn on Duke football. You're going to make sure you catch kickoff. Who are you going to be looking for to take the reins of the Duke school?
I think Duke's in a good place right now. As a team, I think we've got a lot of really good players kind of across the board. Some young talent, some younger guys who are now older guys, and on defense, on offense. But Quentin Harris will have responsibility as a starting quarterback, and as a classmate and a close friend of mine, I can't wait to watch him play. I look forward to seeing what he does.
What advice would you have for any young guy who's going to be thrown into the fire in a college program, whether it be due to injury or any other circumstance, when their head's spinning and they're still really learning how to play college football and they're out there in the starting lineup? What advice would you have?
I would just say keep your head down and keep working. That was my dad's advice to me after a tough game. Well, that first season was just go back to work. And I think that's the best way to deal with a lot of it is just to make sure you as long as you feel like you're improving, you're making progress, you're going to be all right. So I think that's that was the best advice I got at that point, and that would be my advice to other people is just keep working and keep your head down, stay at work.
You definitely seem excited about the future of the Duke football program, and your last year there, what was it that you instilled in some of the younger guys going forward for the future? What lessons of leadership were you able to pass on so that they're going to be in good hands?
I think just a commitment to the team, a commitment to football. I think with good teams, football's important to everyone, and it's central to one of the central things to your life. So I think, I think it is that way at Duke with Coach Cutt, and just making sure that, it's important to everyone, that everyone's doing what they can, on and off the field to be a successful part of that team.
If I were to ask Coach Cutt what the biggest difference between Daniel Jones, the redshirt scout quarterback, and the first-round draft pick, what is the biggest difference between both of those guys? What would he say?
I think I learned through the years when to take risks, when not to take risks, and maybe got a little bit more disciplined and understanding the flow of the game, and understanding how situationally it makes sense to make different plays or try to do different things with the football. So hopefully there's more than one thing I improved on, but I think that's that's something I think I got better at through the years.
High school, you're killing it, you're getting some attention, but you make the decision to stay home. Why?
Walking through the doors at the University of Iowa, I didn't have very many offers coming out of high school. And just walking through the building, the culture that was there, and Coach Ferentz obviously being there for 20 years, and Coach Doyle being there for 20 years, it was an easy decision for me. My family had always pushed me to go towards Iowa, and that's where I wanted to be.
You came from a family that was involved with Iowa football. I'm sure you grew up an Iowa fan, but what was it like day one actually being a part of it instead of just watching it?
It was different. I mean, just like any new experience, it's different. It was really hard my freshman year. I redshirted that year, and that was tough for me. Because I always wanted to play in the black and gold, and redshirting, I wasn't able to play. So I just went to work every day and tried to be the best player I could be.
It obviously worked out for you as you sit here as a first-round pick, but
Right.
Take me through those early years. You're only 18, 19 years old, you're still young, and having to balance that concept of this is an opportunity to learn, but I do wish I was out there.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a small town, Sheridan, and then going to that, taking a big step and going to the University of Iowa, Division I. I was from 3,200, people population,
Yeah.
And then, you're never sure. You don't know what's going to happen. And then, you got to learn. That was the biggest thing is I put my head down and I just worked and learned the offense, learned how to play at that level my first year redshirting. And then, after that, it kind of took off, and I just tried to get better every day. That was my thing. I didn't focus on anything else. I just wanted to get better that day and that week. So.
What was your relationship like with Coach Ferentz? I mean, he's been there since the beginning of time, and it looks like he's not leaving anytime soon. So, I mean, to go, like you said, from a small town to a much, much bigger platform in Iowa, but to have that foundation of a guy who you know is going to have your back.
Coach Ferentz is the best. Coach Brian Ferentz they're all family. I got close with all of them, and just being like I said, having Coach Ferentz there for 20 years, that doesn't happen by accident. He works as hard. He's the most genuine person you'll ever meet. And yeah, I mean, just having those people there on your side, it's awesome. It's really cool to have. And then Coach Doyle being there 20 years too. They're always looking out for you as a person. They obviously want to win and want to do everything, but they want you to be a better person. And I think that's the cool part about them.
The same night that you get drafted, one of your buddies also gets drafted. But what was that moment? Maybe it was early on, maybe it was just this past season where you looked over and you said, both of us are destined for great things.
My freshman year really was, we were both trying to compete for a job and just working together and working with that was really cool. And then you're like, okay, we're both really good players. And now just being in the position we're in, it's really cool. Just being in different organizations and then seeing each other, how we grow as players and how we grow as people. It's cool. It's a cool, place to be. And it's nice to have him on my side as well.
And how did that develop? Because a lot of guys are competing for spots. There's only 11 spots on the field, and you have two very talented tight ends, but you guys never really butted heads. It was very clear that off the field, you were just as close as you were on the field.
Yeah, I think that happens to other people. Everything stays on the field, and we're just trying to get better as a team. And if the team, got better with us both on the field, that's what we wanted. If it got better with one of us on the field, that's what we wanted. So we're both very team oriented, and I think that showed. And that's how you stay close off the field as well.
When you think of Iowa football, what comes to mind is physicality. Smash mouth, in your face football. How did you adjust your game to adapt to that?
I think, you have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Coach Doyle really helped me. I came in at 220 and I left at 250. So, I mean, within 3 years, I gained 30 pounds, and I think that's, a credit where, he's one of the best in the business, and, just having that foundation from him was really special. And then, just being able to work with that university, they really focus on the fundamentals. They were really focused on day-to-day aspects of things, and that's the cool part about the University of Iowa, and that's how I've gotten where I'm at.
Tight end you. I mean, you got George Kittle, you got you, you got Noah, you got the countless others before. How does that add to the sense of pride when you look back on being an Iowa Hawkeye?
I'll always have, my love will always be at the University of Iowa. They've done so much for me, and then just being part of that history is really cool. You got guys like Dallas Clark, George Kittle, Noah, myself, CJ Fedorowicz. I could go on and on. There's so many people. Scott Chandler. I mean, there's so many people, and it's cool to just be able to see, the people on the wall and be able to see how not only good players they were, but how good of people they were as well. So, I mean, it's just super, super cool to be a part of.
Kittle hands off the keys to you and Noah. Who are you passing them off to for the future?
There's a few guys that'll step up. Tight end U's not leaving. I mean, we'll have someone else. There's plenty of guys there that'll take that role.
And with Ferentz there, and as we know, he's not going anywhere. How does that just add to, again, your sense of pride of being an Iowa Hawkeye, playing for one of the most historic coaches that has ever been in the game?
I mean, I think it's 2 coaches in the last 30-some years.
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, just having that same foundation and that, the same people going back and just seeing those guys is really cool, because they're going to be there for a while and the faces aren't going to change. And that just adds with the history, it adds with the culture. None of it leaves and it always stays the same. I was sitting in that guy's room, and the guy before me's shoes, and the guy from 20 years ago, he can come back and he's like, okay, I've been sitting in your shoes, and I know all these same people. It's cool to have, and it's cool the history that we have there.
You decided to leave early. What was the game, the play, the moment that you realized I'm ready for the next level?
I don't know. I mean, I really decided the last day that I was going to leave. The last day that I could.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't really know. I loved the University of Iowa, and they did a lot for me. But the last day I talked to Coach Ferentz, and he's like, hey, I think you're ready to go, and we would love to have you, but you're ready as a person. And I was like, okay. Just getting his blessing and getting all that from him, and all the other coaches there, it really meant a lot. And then the rest is history. So
you might not have known it at the time, but looking back on it, what was it like suiting up for the last time at the Outback Bowl?
It was special. It really was, just being able to get the win with the guys. And last year's team was probably one of my favorite teams I've ever been a part of, just because going through some adversity that we did early on in the season, it was cool to be able to see how those guys responded. We just went back to work every day. We just grinded it out and just got better as a team, got closer as people, and that's why it was such a good moment. And the seniors there were the best. So.
Yeah. If you could go back to your freshman year, that when you had the red shirt, you're a little frustrated, but what would that version of you be most proud about your game now? What did you add to your game that you would be most proud
of? Just being able to be a physical player, I think is what. Because when I was a freshman, I wasn't able to. I had the heart for it, but I wasn't able to. And then throughout every day, just trying to get better every day and being able to work every day and try to get stronger every day really helped me and helped my game. And that's what I'm going to continue to try to do.
Again, you might not have known at the time that it would be your last time suiting up, but how happy are you that you have that final lasting memory?
I wouldn't trade it for the world. Just being able to play with those guys one last time and just being able to wear that Hawkeye uniform one more time really meant a lot. And it's something I always cherish. I wouldn't give up a game in that jersey if I didn't have to. And so just being able to do that for one last time really meant a lot to me, and just being able to play with those guys.
2 tight ends in the top 20. I believe that's the first time ever. And like you said, that's only going to continue to grow. Tight end, when you're getting ready for games on Sundays now, but you look back and you're watching Iowa on Saturday nights, what kind of pride is that going to bring you, knowing that a future draft pick is at that tight end position?
It's cool. It really is, just being able to see the history continue. Seeing all the people still work, and then being able to see guys rise that because I play with all these guys at the University of Iowa, and then just being able to watch them grow and get better each day and each week as the season goes on. It's going to be cool to watch.
Tight end is maybe not the flashiest position, very underappreciated in some systems. So how does it feel to have a team say, no, this is our guy and we need him now?
It means a ton. They took an opportunity on me. They took a chance. Obviously, and they're giving me an opportunity to play such a great game at a high level. I'm looking forward to this opportunity that I have, and there's no expectation out there that I don't have myself. I want to continue to work hard every day, continue to get better every day, and then ultimately that'll lead to what I want it to.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, not even close.
Vanderbilt.
Least favorite locker room, Vanderbilt. It was god awful.
Cal. I'll say Cal.
Missouri.
Oh, Northwestern easily. It's literally as big as this room.
Troy locker room was terrible. It's like there was 100 guys in a locker room about the size of like a bathroom stall. It was awful.
Louisville was bad. I think they made some upgrades now and a little better, but it's like you sit in here and it's like this big and you got to share it with like another person.
Iowa.
Probably Iowa.
You go in that locker room, it's small and it's pink in there. It's just kind of a weird feel.
The pink walls, and yeah, it was bad.
Clemson.
Purdue. They squish you in there. They try to make it like that.
Least favorite locker room would have to be Rutgers. They have a tough locker room, visiting locker room there. You're literally like stacked up on top of each other, so that's a tough one to be in.
Omaha, Nebraska. Your name is getting out there and you decide to go to Iowa. What was it about it?
Iowa has a good tradition at tight end, and me playing that position, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. So made the decision to go there, which wasn't easy, but it ended up working out for me.
Why wasn't it easy?
Being from Nebraska, that's the Cornhuskers are the home team. Nebraska fans would take it very to heart. So, yeah, it was a tough decision, but like I said before, it was the best one for me.
You come in as a young guy and you get to play for Ferentz, who is basically a living museum of Iowa football. What were those early years like? I mean, learning from a guy who has seen everything there is to see in football.
Yeah, I mean, it was dope. I enjoyed it. I played as a freshman, came in right away and played, and got to learn a lot. There's a lot to learn. Definitely some growing pains along the way, but it was a lot of fun, and I couldn't complain.
Yeah, so your style, I mean, it's hard to, if we have to label you, we'll call you a tight end, but your versatility, I think that shocked a lot of people that you chose Iowa, which is a smash mouth program. So where did you find that middle ground of your skill set with a team that, if they could, would run the ball 200 times a game?
Yeah, no, I knew I could go to somewhere like a Pac-12 school or somewhere spread offense and do well in the passing game. But I wanted to go somewhere, like you said, is a well-balanced team that I would run block to and, become a balanced threat. So that also played a big role in going to Iowa. And, there's definitely multiple things that a tight end's asked to do. And so, it ended up working out real well that they taught me all those ways, and I was able to do all those in college.
Do you feel bad for Big Ten defenses that they don't have to just guard one tight end? They got to watch out for two tight ends that would be future first-round picks?
Yeah, I'm sure it was tough for them, too. They struggled with it, and, it was a good combo, and we'll definitely see, how it goes in the NFL. So.
What was that moment when you realized, maybe it was this past season, maybe it was a season prior, when you look over at your buddy, T.J. Hawkinson, you realize we both might be destined for some great things at the next level?
Yeah, I'd say about halfway through last year, some hype was starting, and, we were having good seasons and things like that, and, it all went really well, and, ended up all coming to fruition at the end of the year.
And you guys, it's clear that you guys are friends off the field, whereas in a lot of this case, some guys start butting heads. I want to be drafted before you. Or that play was drawn up for me. Why isn't the ball in my hands in this moment? But you guys seem to put that competitiveness aside and work together.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. In my belief, I'm taking exactly where I'm supposed to be, and especially when it comes to the draft, I wanted to go to the team that best fit me and the team that best fit TJ and all that. And so it's always love both ways, but it's going to be fun competing against each other in the league.
Your skill set, as we said earlier, was very wide-ranging. Hand in the ground, stand up as a receiver, you come to the slot, you can block, do whatever you want. What skill was refined at Iowa from Ferentz, from your tight end coach, that you're excited to display now in Denver?
Yeah, I'd say my blocking was most refined, and coming into Iowa, I knew how to run routes pretty well. I knew how to catch the ball, but that blocking aspect in high school, guys are going to block. It's not going to be that hard, though. You're going against a lot bigger and better guys in college, and doing that, coming in and working on it, it definitely helped my craft, and I feel like definitely prepared me to go into the NFL now and be able willing and able blocker.
What were those games like back in Nebraska, and they weren't the biggest fans of you?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing for me. I had great games all the years I played there. We straight up just beat them down in Memorial Stadium, which was a great feeling. And I had a pretty good game that game, which made it even better.
George Kittle out there in San Fran doing his thing. Now we got you, we got TJ. Who is that tight end room looking to next?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. They got a couple guys. They got Sean Byer, Nate Wheating, guys come off the top of my head that are upperclassmen that I think can make a mark. And so we'll see what happens. And but the role's definitely up for the taking.
Recruiting is a priority there, and obviously you can mold guys with great coaching, but talented guys have to be in the room in the first place. But what is it about Iowa that's breeding these tight ends?
Starting with our class, guys are starting to realize that there's been a long, illustrious line of tight ends that have gone there, and there's tight ends are starting to want to go there. I think that's the biggest thing. They feel like it's a fast track to the NFL, which it's becoming, and so I feel like that plays a big role in it. They're getting guys that are good players, and they're developing them even further. So I feel like the line's just gonna continue to get longer.
What was the moment this past season that you realized, I'm ready for the NFL and it's time to go now?
After the Indiana game, I had came back. I had a concussion the week before, didn't practice at all, and really I studied our plays and picked up the playbook in probably a day and a half, and came out and had one of the best receiving games of my career, and that kind of consolidated just the fact of picking up offenses pretty easily, and just being able to learn while you're not practicing also, and that kind of stuck with me, and that's a big part of being a pro, and so that's definitely was a point where I was like, I think I could probably definitely do this.
And you decided to sit out the bowl game, and although there's always this negative connotation around that, your coach supports you, your locker room definitely wants you to go on and do what's best for you. So what's that balance like?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's all that matters is my coaches and my teammates. And, you know, there's going to be opinions of everybody. Everybody's going to have different opinions about anything about the game. And so as long as I got, you know, that support of my teammates and my close friends on the team and my coaches, then that's what matters to me.
You're going to be in your hotel on a Saturday night getting ready for a big game on Sunday. And Iowa's going to be playing that night game against Ohio State like they do every single year. What thoughts are going to be going through your head? What are you going to miss most?
I'm gonna miss being under the lights in Kinnick. You know, that was one of my favorite memories, beating Ohio State my sophomore year in our alternate jerseys. So that's gonna bring back good memories, and you know, hopefully I'm able to go back and catch a game sometime.
Coach Ferentz has been there since the dawn of time, and he'll continue to be there. He lives and breathes Iowa. Is there anything that can take them off track, or is Iowa going to be there as long as the Big Ten's around?
Yeah, I mean, I think Iowa's going to be there. I mean, they're a consistent team. Most years 8-5 or around there, and you know, they're a consistent team that does what they do in the Big Ten. So you know, as long as the fans are happy, and you know, they obviously have support of all the alumni and guys like me that have come through there, they're gonna be kicking to the end of the Big Ten. So
Coaching staffs change about as much as guys transfer nowadays. This coordinator's going over there, this receivers coach is going over there, like clockwork. But Ferentz has been there, like we said, forever. What is it about him, about his personality, to where people know he's going to stay put?
Yeah, I think it's the support he has behind him. I think, you know, our AD, Mr. Barta, the president of the university, and the fans. Everybody loves him. He's a great guy. Cares about his players, and you know, wants his players to do things the right way. So it's a good culture that they have there, and it's definitely, you know, it definitely attributes to why he's been there so long.
When you're watching those games on Saturday night at Iowa, we know you're gonna miss that stadium, but what is it about the locker room, about the culture that you're gonna miss most?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the culture of the state of Iowa is what I'm gonna miss the most. Being in the stadium, the fans, and even our teammates that get so passionate about football, that's what they have there in Iowa. The Hawkeyes are what they have, and that is like their pro team. That is everything to them. So just the atmosphere and just how the fans that truly care about the games, and they're there to the very end, and that's definitely something that I'm going to miss.
Coach Gundy, We always see him on ESPN in the locker room having fun. What was it like playing for him day in and day out?
You know, at the end of the day, I just love playing football, so it was a great experience playing under the Oklahoma State fan base and playing under the Cowboy Nation. I mean, it was great, and so every day I just came to work, and at the end of it, I had a great career.
You're from Oklahoma, so when the Cowboys came knocking, how excited were you?
Oh yeah, I've been a lifelong fan, so it was the first team that I really started to talk to and built a great relationship with them. So whenever I got that offer, it was kind of like a mutual love because it was the first offer that I got, and it was a team I always wanted to go to, so it was a good experience.
Other teams certainly came knocking afterward as you continued to make some noise in the high school ranks. Did you ever consider anywhere else, or was it done?
Nah. From day one, yeah, I already knew I could have had every offer in the country. I probably would have still went there, and so and the temptation never really rose from that point that I committed. And so once I committed, I was there for good.
It was your favorite school growing up, so you knew everything about the school. How did that mindset change when you signed that paper and you went there and you're like, wow, I'm actually a part of this now. I'm not a fan anymore. I'm a representative.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to be able to play, and then I know the history of the position at the school. You got Hall of Famers in the NFL, and so whenever I signed that paper, I knew I wanted to be in that category, and so I just kept working every single day. And at the end of it, when it's all said and done, I want to be in the same conversation as those guys. So it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's just a start. So we'll see how it goes from here.
Speaking of starts, you know how to start. I mean, freshman year, freshman All-American, Big 12 Young Guy of the Year.
Yeah.
How did you just come on the scene and attack right away? You put numbers up, you put some highlights up, you embarrassed some defenses. How?
I mean, first you just gotta thank God for it and giving me the ability to do that. And then from the time I got there, I just went in and worked. Ever since I started playing football, I mean, I always just come in and work and do my thing, and it just pays off on the field. I mean, because the field, that's the easy part, that's the game day, and then you have a whole week before that you had to prepare for that. So I just come in and work every single day, and it just shows off when I get on the field.
It's interesting to hear a guy say that about a freshman year because usually your head's spinning, you're trying to get used to playing in front of tens of thousands of people.
Right.
What was it that made you so comfortable? Was it the familiarity with Oklahoma State as a campus?
To be honest, I don't know. It just felt like football. At the end of the day, it's just football. I mean, the game is always the same, just different people on the field. And the biggest thing, the first game was just the crowd. And, it's so many more people that I used to playing with, but the game itself didn't change for me. The tempo wasn't that much different. It just felt like what I've been doing my whole life. So I felt like that's why I didn't have like a big transition period, because it felt like the same thing I've been doing. So yeah, that's what I credit to.
Yeah. Take me through that first home game. You walk from the locker room, you got that uniform on that you always wanted to wear, you got your family in the crowd, knowing that it was your dream to play on that field. What was that moment like?
Oh man, it was a great feeling. Even though I knew I wasn't gonna be able to be on the field that much, it was a hot day. We played C-Law. It was just a great feeling, just running out the tunnel and then coming out with a win at the first time being on that field in the game atmosphere. And so from that day, I just wanted to replicate that feeling every time I got on the field, just going out there, getting the win and making the team look good. So from that first day, I mean, it was all love.
And how do you replicate that success in the NFL from day one that you had in college?
I mean, I feel like you just got to do the same thing, just continue to do what you did to get there, which is putting in the work off the field, putting in mentally, and it's gonna pay off. You just got to put the time in and just continue to work and continue to do the things that got you here.
The AFC North is known for, if anything, physicality. Physical football. The Big 12, on paper, known for putting up points and maybe not necessarily known for defense. How do you flip that mindset to know it's about to get real?
I mean, it's football, man. It's football. At the end of the day, it's offense and defense, and the objective of the game is to win and score points. And so, our offense, we got some speed, we got some playmakers, and so we're gonna go out there and make plays no matter what it is. And it's always gonna be defenders right there. So I mean, it's gonna be the same. I'm just gonna go out there and continue to play and put up points and win games.
You've been out there for a little bit now with the mini camps and OTAs just now starting. What has been the biggest hurdle for you so far going from the college game to the program?
I mean, it still was kind of like, for me, just going from high school to college, it wasn't much. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just football. And so, I mean, the biggest thing is probably just learning the playbook, but I mean, it's not nothing crazy. It's just, you gotta take the time and put it in. So when I get out there, come next week in the training camp and stuff, I just want to be able to play fast, and that's what I plan to do. And so just go out there and make sure I know everything I'm doing, and it'll pay off.
Off the field, what do you hope to accomplish by the end of your rookie year? We of course, we know we're gonna get the touchdowns, we're gonna get the receptions, we're gonna be out there on special teams. Off the field, what do you hope is the growth?
For me, I just want to be able to get back to the community, whether it's out in Baltimore or back home in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Whatever I can do, I want to be able to do that. And I know it's not that much time we get during this first season, but it's something I really wanted to focus on, is just giving back and be able to just touch people, whether it's kids, adults, anything in the communities where I'm from and where I'm playing, and anywhere across the country.
Anything specific?
Not anything specific at the moment. I just want to get back any way possible.
Yeah, and where does that come from? Does that come something that your parents instilled in you? Is that something that happened to you at Oklahoma State? When did it become, I want to use my platform to help others?
I mean, ever since I was a kid, you know, you see guys in the situation that you are now, and they give back, and you see how that affects kids, and how that affects how they work and how they move forward in life. And so if I could touch somebody to change the direction of their life, you know, it's going to be a good feeling for me, and something I pride myself on doing.
And when you were a kid, was there anybody in your life who did that for you?
I mean, there's a lot of people, just a lot of local guys. You know, we have Felix Jones and Robert Meacham. They always threw camps every single year, and I went to a lot of those camps. And so I just saw that they were in the same spots that I was in at one point in time, and then that they got from the little league to high school to college to the NFL. And so it was good seeing those guys make it up to that level. And so now that I'm on that level now, I want to do the same things.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State obviously have their issues on the field, of course, but it seems like Oklahoma guys take care of each other on the next level. Where does that bond come from?
I mean, it's just love for the game at the end of the day. I mean, no matter what it is, it's football, and you don't want that, like, to damage relationships, because at the end of the day, it's just a game. And so relationships last forever. And so no matter if it's opposing teams or your teammates, you always want to have good relationships with everybody.
Junior year, you continue the success that you had started your freshman year when you came on the scene. When did you know, I'm ready for the next level?
I mean, throughout the season, it wasn't something I was really dwelling on until towards the end of the season. And I just felt like just to continue getting better as a player and continue to just develop, I felt like I could do that better on the next level. And so that was really the biggest decision for me. I wanted to improve and widen my range as a player. And so I felt like moving on would do that for me.
And the Liberty Bowl comes around, and a lot of people might give you flack for sitting out, but you're making the best decision for you. So take me through that decision and the support or lack of from your teammates and your family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a long story, but it really wasn't my decision. But, I mean, it's just a long story. I don't want to really get into it. But after the decision was made, teammates, I mean, they're all supportive. I mean, everybody was pretty much supportive. My family, they were supportive of it. So, I mean, it was a decision I made, and I'm so glad I did, and nothing I regret.
And for them to support you in that decision, your teammates, there must have been a lot of chemistry in that locker room.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we all support each other, no matter what the venture is in life. I mean, if it's outside of football, doing things just outside of football. I mean, even in football, we're going to support each other, but it's about the things off the field too, because football is just a small portion of your life, and we just support each other whatever it was. And so for me, moving on, I mean, they always supportive because they know just the opportunity. And so it wasn't something that anybody was bitter about. So it was good having that support from them.
And your former locker room, your former teammates are obviously mean a lot to you, that family dynamic. And now you go to the NFL into a new locker room, and maybe you're now with some rivals, maybe you're with some guys you hated on the field previously. What's that dynamic like of, hey, this is a new start, you guys are my brothers going forward?
Oh yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still like I said earlier, it's football, and it's really about the relationships you build. Because I mean, it's a lot of OU guys in the Ravens locker room. Yeah,
there's a whole lot in there.
There's a lot of them in there, but I mean, we're all cool. I mean, we talk about the games that we had and the ones we should have won, but it's cool though. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all teammates now, so we're fighting towards the same goal now. So
Sundays are gonna come about, but Saturday mornings, you're getting your final meetings in, your final walkthroughs. You're gonna turn on College Game Day. Who are you excited to see?
I'm excited to see everybody really, but my team obviously. See Oklahoma State do well, and I'm ready to see Tylen Wallace, the receiver, and Chuba Hubbard, and whoever playing quarterback, just putting up points because I know they're gonna put up some good points and make some terrific plays. So it's gonna be fun to watch them on Saturday morning.
You made an impact from your freshman year up to now. That's 3 years of stats, of plays, of touchdowns, and that's gone now. How is that offense gonna replace you?
I mean, we were a load team. We're not a rebuild team, and so we have some great players behind me, great players behind every position. We had great sleeve before, and we still was able to produce after they left. And so, same for me. I mean, every person that comes up after me is always going to be that person that's there, and then they're going to leave. And so, Chuba is going to be the next guy behind me, and so I feel like he's going to do a great job. He's going to go out there, run his heart out, and hopefully he's going to be in the same situation.
What's that relationship like? You weren't a senior, but you were an upperclassman. You were one of the leaders of that team, performing each and every week. What's that relationship like, taking care of the younger guys, knowing, hey, when I'm gone, I want to leave this team in great hands?
Yeah, it was crazy because my second year, I was the oldest person in the running back room, so I felt like I was young and still was old at the same time, just because I was the only one that had experience, only one played, and so for them, I just tried to just give everything that I took from like Chris and Rennie. Those are the senior running backs that were there before me, and Barry. And so I just tried to take what I learned from them and give it to them, even though I was still young at the same time. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're just gonna learn, and sometimes you gotta learn by yourself, and sometimes you got somebody to lead you. And so whichever way works best for them moving forward, they're gonna be good.
And what's the shift in mindset now, going from the leader that you were for 2 years? Like you said, you're the old guy, even as an underclassman. Now you're going into a new locker room where you really are the young guy in years and experiences. Is that a shift in mindset to now become a sponge?
Yeah, you always can learn, especially in the room that I'm in. You got some great guys. You got Mark Ingram, been in the league for 8-9 years, and so I mean, he's been able to see every single situation that's been out there, and so it's gonna be good to just be able to learn. And learning never ends, and so it's going to be a fun thing and a fun experience to be behind those guys and just learn from them while I can.
the why, what you play for and just what you stand for.
The passion, the school, pride behind every team.
The best part about playing college football would be winning. We do that a lot at Alabama.
Best part of being a college football player is just the platform you have that you can use to affect kids, affect people's lives, and really make a change in whatever you're trying to do.
It's just the brotherhood, the bond that you form with your teammates.
The friendships that I made.
The memories.
Oh, the connections that you made. Definitely the lifelong friends and teammates that you have.
Just running down the hill, just being in the locker room every day, being around a coaching staff like we have at Clemson. That's something you never forget. The practices, the workouts where everyone's dead and tired and yelling at each other.
How we run in sprints, during the summer, and the brotherhood that we bonded. I mean, it's
incredible.
Those are just some fun memories.
Definitely the atmosphere and the fans. I feel like there's nothing like college football, so the tradition and everything is something I'll definitely miss.
The best part of playing college football for me was just being at home and just having the whole city behind me and just having your guys that you've been living with, growing up with for 4 years and, maturing and just having them by your side playing with you.
Just enjoying the experience, is different. You're away from home and you get to call different guys brothers. You get to find a different family and you get to grow as a man.